Good evening and welcome. I can't tell you how much it means to me to be standing here this evening. My name is Nick Hemphill. The last time Volunteers of America asked me to give a speech, my wife Jill and I were sharing our personal testimony at the 2007 Shelter from the Storm event. 14 years later, I'm here to welcome you as the incoming chair of the Board of Directors for Volunteers of America, Northern California, Northern Nevada. It's a testament to how Volunteers of America changes lives every day. I went from living on the streets and suffering from 25 years of addiction to being a proud business owner and ambassador for Volunteers of America and the programs to help individuals like me rebuild their lives. If you got here early enough this evening, you may have had a chance to meet some other individuals whose lives have been changed by Volunteers of America. Like Janice or Monique, two residents of our Meadowview Navigation Center. Marty, a resident of our Transitional Living for Veterans. Shauna, a graduate of Options for Recovery Residential Treatment for Parenting Women. Or JT, a promising young artist who graduated from our Transitional Housing for Former Youth 2 years ago. Please join me in thanking them for displaying their art and their journey with us this evening. You know, all these lives, mine included, have a bright future thanks to your love, compassion, and investment. You see, there's a difference between the money we receive from various government agencies and the cost of actually rebuilding people's lives. It's called a funding gap. This year we started with a funding gap like we do every year, and this year that was $2.1 million. But thanks to our generous supporters, we've been able to close a significant portion of that gap. Tonight we're going to ask you to help us close the rest of that gap so we can say yes. Yes to people like Janice and Monique, Shauna, Marty, JT, and others who you'll meet soon. This evening you will hear how your investment compounds as each person who was helped impacts 10 others, creating a healthy, kind, and strong environment, one that we can all be proud of. To kick off today's program, we've asked Air Force veteran Marty Roberts to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Marty. Where's Marty? Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Marty. We're grateful for your service and the sacrifice you've made for our country. So my first interaction with Volunteers of America came when my wife Jill and I entered the shelters. We had no real intentions of staying long. We just needed a hot meal and a respite from the 24/7 struggle of surviving on the streets. Little did we know that staff would gain our trust and show us a path out of homelessness, one that we didn't think was possible. In fact, that person that was there for us 19 years ago when Jill and I walked off the streets is here joining us this evening. And I just wanted to say thank you to Victoria Thank you, Victoria, for being there for Jill and I and helping us overcome those barriers that threaten to keep us on the streets. We really couldn't have done it without you. Volunteers of America changed our lives in many ways. We were given a case manager to help us create a plan. We met with a credit counselor to help us clean up our credit, and then employment counselors to match our skills with our careers. They walked us through changing our lives one step at a time, at a pace that we needed. After graduating from Volunteers of America, I took and passed my C10 electrical contractor's test and started a company with my brother. 15 years later, nearly everybody who's involved with our company is in recovery, and we support each other in our journeys. So yeah, Volunteers of America changed my life, and I'm honored to serve on the board of directors. But I also know that none of these programs would be possible without the people like you and our sponsors. So I don't want to miss this opportunity to say thank you to our sponsors who made tonight's event possible. First of all, I'd like to thank Paul Esch for hosting this evening at this beautiful venue. I'd also like to thank Kent Lachin and his band, Beat Salad, for providing us with the music this evening. Next, I'd like to thank our sponsors, and please hold applause to the end. Epic Insurance, Suncrest Bank, Kaiser Permanente, Crime Alert Security, and Mike Belot of Capital Advocates. Thank you all for sponsoring tonight's event. And a very special thank you to my fellow VOA board member, Deborah Morrow Bovin, as well as John Bovin and Drink Wines for sponsoring tonight's food and beverage. Thanks to these individuals, all gifts given tonight will go directly towards Volunteers of America's life-changing programs. I'd also like to thank our board members and our ambassadors, because whether you're joining us here virtually or in person, without them, none of us would have the opportunity to learn about the work that's being done to make our community stronger and healthier. Before we begin, I'd also like to recognize some local officials who've joined us this evening. Vice Mayor of City of Roseville, Bruce Hadesheld. Sacramento Council members Jeff Harris and Mai Vang. Randall Cordova City Council member Siri Polapati. Sacramento County Chief Deputy James Barnes, and former U.S. Representative Doug Ossie. Thank you all for your presence tonight and your partnership in ending homelessness. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Leo McFarland, President and CEO of Volunteers of America.
Thanks, Leo. Thank you. How about a hand for Dick? Well, welcome, everybody. Isn't this nice? Kind of feels like a wedding, doesn't it? Goodness gracious. Good to see everybody. I'm glad you made it out here. I'm glad it's not raining like it was in Auburn about an hour ago, where I came from. And I just want to make sure that you all understand how very much I appreciate you being here today to listen to and hear some of the stories that we're about to share with you. I really think you'll find it an inspiring evening. And thank you all for being with us tonight, and our special guest. And I didn't see Doug Ossie yet. Is Doug really here? Doug, can you raise your hand? Doug's a heck of an outfielder. And he and I used to play softball together. And he was really the star, fastest man I ever knew. Anyway, if he does show up, and earlier John McGinnis was here. He was stopped by for a few minutes. He was rushing off to another appointment, but he wanted to give his best wishes to all of us. So Nick is our incoming board chair, and we're so looking forward to this opportunity. Nick's going to bring a very interesting perspective to the work we do, and this is important for us to understand the challenges that's before us. And Nick and his wife, Jill, have both gone through a particular gauntlet to get to where they are today. But I'd be remiss if I didn't also thank and point out the important work that our outgoing board chair, Melissa Aliati, has done for this organization for the last 2 years. Melissa, we are so grateful for the leadership that you have provided to us, the love you have shown us, the particular sensitivity you have for our clients' challenges, and the support you gave all of us to make this happen. So Melissa Aliati, thank you very much. She's going to continue on the board, but she's just stepping down as current board chair. So thank you, Melissa. For 110 years, Volunteers of America has been serving the Sacramento community. We've been operating homeless programs. We've been developing senior housing. We are currently running veterans programs, working with kids aging out of foster care. I know that JT, who's one of our artists here, is a graduate of the Emancipated Youth Program. The homeless services that we do, the alcohol and drug treatment program we do a wide swath of programming. And it's a pleasure every day to wake up to know that we have an opportunity to impact someone's life. And the programs that we put together all have that secret sauce that will help somebody actually leave their homeless situation. Again, whether or not they have an addiction issue, whether or not there's mental illness present, whether or not it's an economic homeless situation, we know what it takes to move somebody from homelessness to independence. And part of that secret sauce is the love and dignity that we show all of our clients, no matter who they are. They're always into our programs with open arms, but love is one of the keys. The key to belong, the key to being accepted, and that's really what we're proud of, most of. Over the last year, we've all faced a number of challenges, haven't we? We've dealt with the pandemic, what it's meant to our families, and everyone else. It's been a challenge for us in our programs and our staff and our clients. It really affected our clients. You can't imagine how the isolation and the inability to gather together as a community really affected their ability to succeed. But they marshaled through it. And they marshaled through it with the help of our loving, dedicated staff and the volunteers that support that staff. Amazing, amazing operation, and I can't thank every person, whether they be staff or volunteer or clients, who have worked hard to move this football down the field. There's an interesting. So you all may have received a video about one of our special guests, a 72-year-old woman by the name of Keiko. Keiko lost her home during the pandemic, not for any reason other than she could no longer afford to live in her home. And she couldn't find alternate housing. So Keiko, very sweet lady, ended up living in her storage unit, sleeping on the concrete floor. No heat, no good access to restrooms or showers. And she lived that way until somebody, luckily, referred her to our senior safe house. And when Keiko entered the senior safe house, she was welcomed with open arms. She got her own bedroom. We have a wonderful group of volunteers supporting the senior safe house that made sure that she had 3 hearty meals every single day. And Keiko was able to really thrive in that environment. She loved all of the staff. She loved the volunteers. And she was able to stabilize long enough to, as I want to report tonight, was able to finally find her own housing. And Keiko is doing wonderful. And we're very thankful for her to step up to share her story as she did in the video that you all got to see. Keiko is just a sweet, sweet lady. But that's just one example of some of the lives that we touch in the work we do. You know, the events of last year, like I said earlier, very, very difficult. There's been a significant growth in homelessness in our community. Many of those folks are really victims of this pandemic. Some of the families have lost jobs, weren't able to pay rent, are now living in their cars. The kids are trying to learn from distance learning. The same struggles that all of us have had in our own home lives has been multiplied on someone who has such a thin margin of support to get through. They just don't have the deep pockets to survive in these kinds of situations. And so that's what we're seeing, more and more of those people who we know we can help. We know our programs will provide them with the tools and the information they need to survive and to thrive. And so part of what today is all about is making sure that we have the resources available to us to make that happen. We did have a wonderful opportunity this past year. We were invited to open and operate the Meadowview Homeless Shelter for women. That shelter currently is housing 75 women each night. And it's at that program that these women are finally beginning to stabilize. Come mid-June, when the COVID is lifted for everyone, we're going to be able to move that count to 100 women a night. So we're really looking forward to June 15th, when we expect we'll be able to increase that. While at this shelter, the women are getting the comfort and tools that they need. They are welcomed, again, I keep talking about the spirit of this employee base that is welcoming everyone with love and affection, and this is really turning the tide. These are the women who have been victims of domestic violence, violence on the riverbanks where they lived. They're struggling with mental illness, they're struggling with alcohol and drug addiction, and they are having a chance to succeed. And one of those women is here tonight, Monique. She has her artwork here that I hope you'll take a look at before you leave. Monique's art is a way for her to experience and the trauma, not only the trauma of what she and her family have gone through, but it's the process of healing that you'll also see within the photographs or the paintings. So Monique, I want to just point you out. I see you over there next to David. Monique, thank you for being here. So I'm going to be brief. You know, stories like Monique's and Keiko's, these stories would not be possible without all of the help that we get outside the agency. We work with government entities, we work with the city of Sacramento, the county of Sacramento, but that extra that we need to do to really make a difference comes from all of our supporters. And that's you people in front of us. And the people who, I'm sorry, I should have said hello to all the people who are watching us virtually. And I can't see them, but hopefully they're watching and listening. Hi, all you out there. Yeah, there you are. Okay. But because of you and because of your support, we're able to innovate. We're able to do things in a fashion that can truly change people's lives. And I just want to thank you for being here. Nick talked to you about the gap we have. Well, we're close to closing that gap. And so your presence here tonight is very, very important. So I just want you to know how much we appreciate your presence. And I really want to get off this stage because I think you want to hear somebody very, very special. And I'd like to introduce Akinisi, who is a role model not only for her beautiful daughter, but for the co-workers and clients she serves. Please. There you go. All right.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here and for allowing me to share my story with you tonight. I grew up in the country of Samoa. For those that may not know, it is close to Fiji, New Zealand, and Australia. I came to America when I was 22 years old on a student visa to pursue my college dream. Unfortunately, things did not go how it planned. Instead, I fell in love, I got married, and I have a beautiful child. But the relationship became very abusive to the point where I was feared for my life and for my daughter's life. But I was really felt struck. So my visa got expired during the first year of our marriage. And then my husband really refused to help me become citizen. I felt trapped, but because my daughter lived to safety, I had to escape. I reached everything to move to Sacramento in 2016. I have no plan, have no money, nowhere to live. I could get arrested or I could get deported. My daughter and I stayed in a motel for about a month until we were welcomed into the family shelter of VOA. Greeted by a community of employees that loved and adored me, and they didn't even know who I am. They took me in, they gave me a place to sleep, and they assured me that me and my daughter would be okay. I didn't work to find any meals a day or having a place to sleep at night. I knew those things would be taken care of as long as I needed. SVOA took me in. A senior support staff member, Anna Cornelius. She's right here. Raise your hand, Mama. I'm sorry. She gave me the encouragement that I needed to get my life back. She comforted me like a mother comforts her child. And she was always there for me. She always had her shoulder ready for me to cry on. She didn't charge me for my mistake. Instead, she convinced me if she could do it, I could do it too. You see, Anna, she has also experienced abusive homelessness, and she also overcome her addiction and struggle. And she was able to provide the encouragement and the advice that I needed. I love you, Mama dear, and I am honored to be your oldest tough child, to follow your footsteps. During my time at the shelter, I discovered that there were so many resources that were available for me, and that my dream of becoming a citizen would be possible. All I wanted was the opportunity to work so I can provide for my daughter, care for her, and give her a home that she deserves. So I did everything my mama and all the staff at Volunteer of America told me to do, which is I took some classes like Ready to Rent, survey parenting classes, and I worked through my own trauma and abuse. The VOA staff and my wonderful advocate, my life coach, she was also my immigration attorney representative, Ms. Reggie Marie Peloyes. She is Filipino. She is not here tonight in person, but she is joining us on the Zoom. Thank you, Reggie. I really appreciate it, and I adore your support, never taking your time for granted, and I love you very much. All of these people I have mentioned, they helped me through my immigration process, assure me that they would be with me in every step of the way. While at VOA, I joined the PTA at my daughter's school, Wood Lake Elementary, and I was even elected on my first year as a vice president for the PTA, as well as, thank you, as well as another 2 years to become the PTA president. So I was very actively involved as a mother. And at that moment, I felt like my life was getting back. As soon as I was able to get my immigration status settled, I accomplished my very first goal of getting a job, and I saved money enough so I can move out of the shelter. I will never, ever forget the day we moved. My daughter just left the shelter and she was headed to school when my VOA family, my religion family, and all the friends that I know at the time helped move everything into our new apartment. My daughter has no idea. I keep this as a secret. When she got out of school, and then when I was on my way to pick her up, I make a plan that I will tell her that we're going to make a stop at somebody's house. When we walk into my apartment, no one was there, just an empty house. That is when I took her in her room, and when she opened the door, she saw her favorite bed and her blanket there. She knew at that moment this was home. I felt like the best mother in the whole wide world. And at the same time, I was so very grateful that I was able to give my only beloved child a place of her own. So now I am back at the family shelter, not as a client, not as a resident, but as an employee. And I work there as a support staff full-time, graveyard. The staff who helped me and everybody that was there are still there. Now they become my family and also my colleagues. I am honored to work with families that have the same story or maybe similar to mine and my daughter. And with my hope that I can show them that there is hope. VOA and the staff helped bring me out of a very difficult situation. Now, my beautiful only daughter never has to worry about having a roof over her head or a place to sleep safe at night. I can take care of myself and my family and provide for her. And I want you to know this. None of this would have been possible without of the support of people like you all, including everyone on the Zoom as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart and my daughter, as well as my mama, for the wonderful support and for giving me a second chance and for believing in me when no one else did. You have changed my life, and I promise and I am planned to pay it forward as long as I can. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm about to leave the stage, but before I walked out, I would like to introduce you all to a very special guest that I bring with me tonight. She is the love of my life. She's everything to me. And without this person, I don't know how would I be able to make it this far. So with any further ado, please help me to welcome my beautiful one and only child, Leutu Lulunga.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for allowing me to be here. So I'm going to sing a song called This Is Me from The Greatest Showman, and I hope you all enjoy it. I'm not a stranger to the dark. Hide away, they say, 'cause we don't want your broken parts. I've learned to be ashamed of all my scars. Run away, they say, 'cause no one will love you as you are. But I won't let them break me down until I know that there's a place for us, for we are glorious. When the sharpest words want to cut me down, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come, and I'm marching on to the beat of drum. I'm not scared to be seen, I make no apologies. This is me. Another round of bullets hits my skin. Will fly away, 'cause today I won't let the shame sink in. 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Oh, 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 this is me. Oh, and I know that I deserve your love. There's nothing I'm not worthy of. And the sharpest words wanna cut me down. I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown 'em out. This is brave, this is Bruce, this is who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. Oh, I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown 'em out. This is me. Thank you all so much. I also just wanted to say something about this song. So I chose to sing this song because I think that it really represents me and my mom's life story. The way she escaped domestic violence and a abusive and homeless relationship in life. So thank you all for letting me be here again, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
That's a hard act to follow. Oh, thank you. Okay, for one thing, let's see, can I do that? All right. Every year I am deeply moved by the stories of resiliency that VOA's graduates share with us. Thank you, Akanesi and Leutu, for sharing your incredible journey with all of us this evening. And what an amazing voice you have, Leutu. Thank you for your gift of song. Can we give her one more round? I'm Melissa Aliotti, Board Chair of Volunteers of America. As you've heard, I'm on my way out and Nick is on his way in. It's been a privilege serving in this capacity for the last 2 years. I'm very grateful to be here with all of you to share the stories of some of the remarkable clients and guests that VOA serves every single day. Awesome. This past year has been like none other. While we have struggled with reworking our businesses and personal lives, some of us have suffered with unimaginable loss. The devoted employees of VOA have continued to provide desperately necessary services and tools and lots of love. Each year, with the support of people like you, VOA helps more than 17,000 individuals. The love is what makes VOA special, and what makes all of you who support VOA special too. As Akanesi courageously shared with all of us, VOA staff didn't give up on her. They showed love, compassion, patience, and understanding, treating her with the dignity that she deserves and allowing her the space to heal. VOA gave her the safety of shelter and a listening ear, and now she is able to make a stable home where she and her daughter can thrive. I know that both you and I want VOA to be there for the next fellow human who is lost, alone, scared, and hurting. The one after that, and so on. But helping people get back on their feet and thrive requires an ever-growing supply of financial resources. Historically, we have managed together to help Volunteers of America close its annual funding gap. This year, as you've heard, our funding gap was $2.1 million. We're getting there. This is the difference, though. Understand, this is the difference between what VOA receives from various governmental agencies and the true cost of helping so many people find housing, employment, and hope. For those of you joining us live, there are envelopes available at tables. You can make a pledge to support VOA's good work. You can do it with pen and paper the old-fashioned way, but all of you, live and virtually, should be receiving a text with a link to give. And if you've silenced your phone, take a look. It should be there. That link will take you to a web page for you to donate. Before you do that, though, I want to tell you about VOA's Shelter from the Storm Society. See all these ribbons? One of them represents being a society member. The Society of Donors gives a minimum $1,000 annually for at least 5 years. This year, I'm thrilled to share we have matching gifts to inspire you to become a new society member. Or, if you're already a society member, this is how they always get me, you can increase your giving level, or your years of commitment, or both. Tom Metzger, are you here? There he is. Could you stand up, please, Tom? Tom is representing our good friends at Wells Fargo, who will match every new or additional $1,000 annual society gift up to $75,000. Please join me in thanking Wells Fargo. Together, let's make the most of that matching gift. We can do it. Now it's time for you to join in. We've created a special page on VOA's website to make it easy for you to pledge. Click on the link in the text that you received or in the chat box if you're in Zoom, and you'll be directed to a web page with 3 buttons. If you're with us live and prefer to use a paper pledge form, we'll take those too. You can find the envelopes and pens at your table. Feel free to fill them out. Let me explain to you, there are a few different options to choose from. If you're online, the red button is for those of you who choose to become new Shelter from the Storm Society members today. This giving level is a minimum commitment of $1,000 annually for 5 years. That's less than $84 a month. But please consider giving more if you have been inspired by tonight's program. Join me in becoming a Shelter from the Storm Society member. It may help you to know how your money could be spent. $1,000 annually will help a senior escape abuse, heal from trauma, and be safely housed. $10,000 a year for 5 years will provide shelter, life skills, counseling, and employment for 5 veterans struggling with homelessness. $25,000 per year will provide substance abuse treatment, mental health support, parenting skills, and life skills for 5 pregnant women escaping a life of abuse and addiction. The blue button is for current society members. Thank you so much for providing the sustaining support VOA relies upon annually. And don't forget, the matching gifts from Wells Fargo will be added to any additional pledge made by a current society member. Use that blue button to make an increased or extended donation. The green button is there for those of you who want to customize your giving. You don't have to become a society member to support VOA's good work. Please choose or create a gift amount that is right for you by clicking on the green button and telling us how much you'd like to give. Are you ready to give? If you haven't yet, check your text messages. I see some of you already have. Or go to the chat box if you're on Zoom. Follow the live link to the website. When you get there, just click on the button that's right for you. Red for new society members, blue for current society members, and green for your custom level of giving. You can also open a new browser window right now and type in voa-ncnn.org/give. I'll do that again, and I think it's on your envelopes as well. voa-ncnn.org/give. At Volunteers of America, we welcome your contribution at any level. Any gift you make today will help meet the ever-increasing demand for essential services. We truly appreciate whatever level of support you can provide. I'll give you a few minutes to fill out your forms, and then we'll come back together. I see people on their phones, people going old school with pen and paper. Thank you. Words are simply inadequate to express my deep gratitude to all of you for being here tonight and sharing your time and your treasure with VOA so that VOA can continue to provide the necessary support, services, shelter, and love that it takes to thrive as a human being in our society today. On behalf of those who find their way to Volunteers of America every day, thank you. Thank you so much for your support. If you haven't had a chance to meet some of our clients and see their artwork on display, please go take a look before you leave and see the talent that they bring. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight, but I want to wish you all a wonderful evening, and if you're not already home, please do get home safely. Good night.